Morning, it's Ken, Man with a Pan, Tommy. We're here at Catalan Offshore Products, Saturday. We're going to make something today that some of you have asked about. Really simple dish that everybody thinks is super complicated. We're going to make a paella marinera. Now marinera means that it's all seafood, or literally of the fishermen. This is a Barcelona style. I know there's 400 kinds of paella, but you got to know that the Catalans from Catalunya, they say if there's sausage in your paella, it's not paella. So this is an all seafood one. We made some fish stock today that's ready to rock and roll, so we figured we'd make the paella to go. So we've got a pan here. You notice it's just a flat bottom big pan. You can use a fry pan, you can use one of those cool chefy paella pans, or you can just use a skillet. It doesn't matter. This dish is traditionally a picnic food made over an open fire, so it's super simple. As usual, pan's already hot. First thing we're going to do is we're going to cook off our seafood. Since it's a seafood paella, you can kind of put whatever you want in it. In this case, we're going to use some shrimp, some grouper, and we're going to finish it off with some mussels. So we got some extra virgin olive oil in here because that's what we happen to have. You don't need that. You can use grapeseed oil just to cook the fish and add the olive oil at the end. Here we come with our peeled and deveined shrimp. Traditionally this would be head-on product, but since everybody here likes to eat it and not peel it, we peel them and devein them. So we're going to space those out in our pan. Get those going good. Got a couple pieces of grouper. You're going to notice we're not going to crowd this pan. What we're trying to do is pre-cook our seafood. What we're going to do with that seafood after it's cooked a bit, we're going to take it off the heat and build our paella. In the meantime, what we got here is we got a couple, in this case 3 small tomatoes that have been peeled and chopped up. That's going to be for our sofrito. Sofrito is what occurs before you add the rice. We're going to add, in this case, I'll give you the recipe while our seafood's cooking off. You're going to need 2 cups of Valencia rice. That's about that much. If you don't have Valencia rice, you can substitute a rice. Any small grain rice like Calrose rice, for example, will work. So the rule is 2 of one, 4 of the other. So you got 2 cups of rice. You're going to need 4 cups of good quality fish stock. We've got over here, plus another cup of a meat stock or a wine. In our case, we're going to use another cup of stock. So you got 5 cups of stock, 2 cups of rice. You've got 2 shrimp per people. You've got a couple pieces of fish per person. You've got 2 tomatoes so far. Turn our seafood. See that color? Go ahead and let them go a little bit so they get that color. Because when you add them back at the end, they're going to be mostly cooked. So, in addition to that, what you're going to need is you're going to need some onions or shallots, a little bit of garlic, salt and pepper, and the most important thing of all is this little product right here. This is azafrán, saffron. This stuff's more expensive than gold per ounce. Now, traditionally, people think that the saffron is what imparts the yellow color to traditional paellas. But in order to impart that color, you'd have to use 2 or 3 of these, and it would taste awful. So what actually occurs in Spain, don't tell anybody, is they use food coloring to add that sunny golden flavor. We're not going to do that. We're going to use the saffron as a flavoring agent only. So we take that saffron. This is about a pinch, about a half of a teaspoon. Take some of our hot stock. We make a little saffron tea out of it. Look at that color already. And we're going to let that steep while we finish out our seafood. So our seafood's about where we want it. We're going to remove that from the pan. Let it drain. Remember, this stuff's going to cook a little bit more when you add it back. So you don't want to cook it till the bitter end. As you can see, we got a little deglazing to do in our pan. Junior can show you at the bottom of the pan's got a little bit of the material from the fish on it. We got our grouper out of there. Okay. So now, we've got our pan that we cooked our seafood in. What we're going to do now, we're going to add our 2 or 3 chopped tomatoes. Right there like that. Normally you would add a little onion here. Let me turn that heat down a little bit. Or on. So normally you would add 1 small Spanish onion. In this case I've got shallots, so I'm going to add the shallots. I'm going to add a little bit of garlic to that, not too much. We're going to stir that around. You'll see that that tomato will start deglazing the pan. This is called the sofrito, the base. You'll notice that this isn't a heavily spiced dish. It doesn't have a lot of garlic. It doesn't have any hot pepper in it. We let this cook down a little bit. There we go. Now you notice I haven't spiced it yet. I haven't done salt. I haven't done pepper. We're going to correct it a little bit later. So, now we've got our sofrito. We're going to add our rice. Again, we got 2 cups of rice. I'm going to distribute that through the pan. I like to let this go a minute before I add the stock. Some people will say don't let it go before you add the stock. That's my way, kind of to get a little color on that rice. It seems to help it to not absorb as much water. We'll start cranking our heat back on. So you'll see that that picks up and deglazes that pan. That means all that flavor is going into this rice. So now we've got our base, which is our garlic, tomatoes, onions or shallots, our rice. We've cooked our seafood off. We're ready to start this thing. So now we need 4 cups of stock because we have 2 cups of rice. So we're just going to take it right out of here into the pan. And obviously this isn't so critical. How many is that, Junior?
3.
Here comes number 4. There you go.
This ain't Sesame Street, man.
That's right. This ain't Sesame Street. So, we're going to bring this to the boil. And we're going to let this boil for 10 minutes. And as it starts to come to the boil, we're going to add our pimenton, our paprika. This is smoked paprika. This paprika is from Spain. There's different kinds. There's hot, there's sweet. The smoked is more traditional, and there's not a lot of heat. So we add our pimenton, our paprika. We can rinse our fish out to do it. Here we go. So now we got 10 minutes of cooking. We're good to go. Turn it on.